Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Three Wise Guys podcast. It's your Chief Arya, along with your Chief Delafo and your Chief Luke. I like you guys wearing your hats today.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I haven't seen you wear this one in a while.
Yeah, it's been a bit. I think I was wearing my beanie too much. So
It looks good.
yeah.
It looks good. What did you get any other colors for this?
No,
It's just this one, right?
I don't think we actually put in our order.
We never put in our order.
We definitely put in an order.
No, we didn't.
I put
what
in
was
my,
the color
I put in my order.
What was the color you put
I
in?
wanted green and I wanted white, and
I think all three of us wanted green.
Maybe we sabotaged Delapo's order.
No,
because we did not put in our
this exactly what happened. Because I wanted this. No one else gave a shit about crochet hats, and then everybody wanted it. And then I said I wanted green, and I don't remember what you guys wanted, but I remember putting in my order and asking how much my bill was gonna be, and they're like, "Oh, don't worry." But that's the thing when you don't pay people for shit. There's no accountability.
Well, no accountability, no contract, no money. No
But
nothing.
by the way, this is not I'm not taking any of this personally. It's fine that we forgot. I forgot as well. But I'm just saying, if I paid, I might have not forgotten.
It might have been me, because I definitely talked to Luke at one point, and I was like, I kind of want a green, and you're like, well, I want a green one, and I didn't want it to be the same. So I was like, well, I'll let you know, and I don't think I ever.
No, I spoke directly to the person who was aggregating the orders.
See, I didn't even know there was a person aggregating orders.
Like, I just don't want to mention people's names. It was Luke's girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah, like, I spoke directly to her.
It was like not like a formal order. It was just like a hey, tell me. And he was the only one who told her. Clearly, that's obviously Anyway, but
well, lots of holes in that process. But anyways, we're here today, and we might get them soon. Who knows? Well, yeah. Thanks, boys. Thanks everyone for joining us again. So let's start with rapid fire headlines. This one might be a little bit old, but you guys remember mayoral candidate? Excuse me. What's his first name? Zohran Mamdani, the NYC mayoral candidate. He tried to lift, what was it, 135 pounds?
Bench press specifically.
He tried to bench press that. There's a video, and we can post it up. Davin will post it up for all to see.
Let's go. Yeah. Let me get three.
He didn't do too well in it. I don't know if you guys saw the whole video.
I did, yeah.
I thought he did like kind of okay. You know, like we're watching it right now, or it's on the TV right now. He did kind of okay.
No.
I'll be 100% honest. I didn't recognize this was Eric Adams in the very beginning. I was like, wait, did he just post a random person bench pressing and calling out Mamdani? But then I
because he looks like a typical New York nigga.
Yeah, like I don't know.
But we know Eric Adams is a dog.
Yeah.
All right. Eric Adams is a straight up dog.
Yeah.
Did you see the way he was putting those bags into their new bins? He just that was so good on his end. Well, anyways, yeah, I thought that was interesting. That was just like,
Yeah, I think we all love that the mayor of New York is now being decided by who can bench press the most.
no, literally, why are there 2 consecutive mayors that have videos of them bench pressing in a public park?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Wait, it wasn't like an event?
No, I think Mamdani did it and it went viral for not being able to do it. And then Eric Adams was like, "Oh, that's why the tweet is Eric Adams' tweet." He was like, "Oh yeah, like don't you want?" Actually, if you click on the tweet again, I think he said something about like he saw Zohran Mamdani.
Yeah.
Oh, he tweeted that.
Yeah, he tweeted that. And look at his 64
versus
you keep killing it, bro.
You
We're
guys
trying
should
to
have
read
seen the fucking replies in this tweet, bro.
It's like 64 versus 33. Wait, I want to read this tweet.
Okay, well that's we
Like,
can't
just-
post that one. Yeah. No, some of these memes are really good. We'll
Wait,
take
what did he
them.
say? You can scroll up. I want to see his tweet again. He's like, yeah.
A lifetime of hard work versus a silver spoon. The results speak for
He
themselves.
said the weight of the job is too heavy for Mom Scrawny. The only thing he can lift is
Taxes.
yeah. So I was like, that's like a full on.
Is
That was
Eric,
a bar,
Adams, is
bro.
Eric Adams running this year?
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
He's the incumbent.
He's the incumbent.
He,
Yeah,
like he shouldn't be contested except he got banged for corruption.
Yeah, like I think it was like he was for sure going to win.
Yeah.
And then now there's like, okay, maybe there's like a chance.
Yeah.
Guys,
No,
guys,
for sure gonna
he
lose.
brought bins to New York.
You can't. Okay.
To New York.
Here's the thing. Like, it's a meme, absolutely a meme. But as people who have actually like stayed in New York for like an extended period of time, can we be honest? Like, it's a pretty needed upgrade.
Dude, it's a
Like, it's a
significant
really
upgrade.
needed upgrade, bro.
Absolutely, the place is fucking nasty. Like anybody asks me
Shocked.
anything about New York, number one thing I say is like it's dirty and smelly.
Dirty, right? Like shocked. Like bro, I better not see any New York. I was about to say I better not see any New Yorkers dogging on Mumbai, but like, dude, like you know what I mean? Like just rats everywhere.
But you know what? I
3
think
garbage days
we
a
might
week.
just be broke. Like, because I'm sure there's some New Yorkers that are in like town cars driving everywhere.
I don't know, bro. Where we
I don't know,
stayed was a pretty like nice place. It was a gentrified area. you
This is
know?
just- I'm telling you, like the place he stayed at was a place my cousin bought, and I can tell you right now, she's not broke.
Well,
for
no,
buying that
yeah.
place, you know what I
That's
mean?
true.
So-
Less about the house and less about where we were staying, more about how we were moving around the city.
No, they take the subway. Like in New York, you
Oh,
have to
okay.
take the subway.
You're
Like, everybody takes the subway.
But dude, that's like saying like, you know, in the dirtiest like place in the world, there's probably like a rich person who never has to see any of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know.
Make it
man.
less. If a tree falls and no one's around to hear it, does it make a noise?
Doesn't make it. No, New
if
York
20
is.
rats scurry by your front door, but you don't see them. Do the rats exist?
No, New York is dirty and disgusting. I'm just saying that, like, you know,
Shut-
my experience from New York might be colored by how broke I am.
No, I think you have the normal. I think you have the normal New York experience,
that's-
like like taking the subway, you know, eating at food trucks and shit like that. That is definitely a New York experience.
I did not eat at a food truck.
I ate
He
at a food truck and it ruined me.
I was glad I made the decision not to.
It
I
was
was
like
gonna say D had his favorite bodega, and then he found a better bodega, and then he went to that one. Like it was like, see, this is the thing about Dolapo. He has such like a strong control over his locus of life that once he like discovers what he likes, there's like no room for error. You know what I mean? Like it's just like it's like I think like I always think about this the other day. Like one of the beauties I think about the way D does his life is like there are no surprises in a way, and that's like both good and bad. Like you know what I mean? It's like great in the sense of like it's never gonna like go like terribly in the direction he doesn't like.
I'll
'Cause,
say
like,
there's definitely surprises with these.
There's absolutely a
For
lot of
example,
surprises
when he
about life.
looks on his calendar and you know he's supposed to be somewhere that he wasn't thinking about, that's definitely a shock to probably everybody, no matter how many times it happens.
Fair. Yeah. No, I get what Luke is saying. Like my day is very routine structured. You can, if you knew me for a bit, you could kind of close your eyes and be like, D's probably doing this at
Yeah,
this
and
moment,
he is,
at
yeah.
this time, and I'm probably doing that. But yes, there's a lot of bullshit that.
but
comes
I
along.
do want to come back to this. Like Mamdani, Mamdani's team. Like I thought their whole thing was they were excellent at marketing and social media. Right?
Yeah.
What were they thinking with this? You know what I mean? Because we're watching the video. It's him basically struggling to lift 135 with, let's be real, like a really helpful spot. Like he's
yeah.
not even lifting.
He's not really
reps by
lifting,
himself. Like
like,
anyone
that
who's
much.
gone to the gym and has seen this video can tell. And by the way, like with a really good spotter, bro, like sometimes you can do like an extra plate.
Yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? So am I to believe that this guy like can like I'm watching this and I'm like, if someone came up to me and was like, money on the line, do you think he can do 1 rep of 135? I don't know if I'm confidently yes in that. You know what I mean? Like, is that crazy to say?
I think the marketing team did a fine.
I was
job.
gonna say,
like he
phenomenal.
screwed this up. Like he himself screwed it. There's
This
a
went viral.
So one, like 2 things he could have done here. One, he could have prepared, right? Like he could have practiced. He could have. He's a rich kid. He definitely has a home gym, right? So one, you could just do that. 2, if you see after the video, he just kind of like He like looks around. He doesn't like really engage too much. Like if he was maybe a bit more hype, if he embraced the fact that he's a weak boy, I think he could have come around on this a little bit more positively. I think he could have had a little bit more fun with it. He was too serious, and when you're too serious and you can't do it, people are going to dog on you. And I think that's what happened. So I think the event itself was not a bad idea, but he could have prepared way better for that.
You could tell how not used to this exercise he is by the descent.
By the descent, yeah.
Like I'm like, well, like he's going way too slow to have like actually. To being a person that actually bench presses.
Like right next to Eric Adams, it's such a funny because they're wearing the same outfit. That's what's funny about this.
And Eric Adams, like if what you say or if you guys are saying is correct, where like he did this after the fact, after seeing the video, it's genius that he got the same spotter.
Is it the same?
It looks like the same spotter.
It does look like it might have been the same event. Yeah, it does look like the exact same spotter.
Because I'm like,
yeah, it's the same shirt.
It is the same spotter. It is 100% the same spotter.
That's genius.
It might have been like a charity event or something. But yeah, shout out to them.
Shout out to them.
I'm just saying, like, for any guy out there, for some reason, if you're listening to this and you're trying to like, flex on like people or like impress people, and you're benching 135, don't. Like, that's not an impressive.
Well,
I'm just saying that, like, not saying like it's not an impressive.
No, I get what you mean. Yeah, but that's not what to flex with.
Any goal is a great personal goal, but like one plate is not something that the general public is going to give you.
I think if you're not like someone who works out, like 135 should be your benchmark. Should be like the bare minimum that you can do, because that's what they gave him an easy lift because he's just a politician.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like you should be able to at least do this. Honestly, as a 33-year-old, you should absolutely be able to at least do this.
And he's definitely more than 135 pounds. Like, you know what I mean? Like you should be able to do.
He's definitely
135. Like
100%,
average 100%. Like in North America.
At least one rep on your own.
Yeah,
at least one rep on your own.
Absolutely.
Anyways, all right, we'll move on. In other news, Canada's Financial Intelligence Unit imposes a $200,000 fine, bless you, on the CNE casino. So the CNE came and went, as it usually does.
Yep.
So they imposed, it's specifically a $199,000 fine on the CNE following a compliance investigation. So it found that the CNE casino to be in violation of Part 1 of the Proceeds of Crime and Terrorist Financing Act. They failed to assess and document the risk of a money laundering or terrorist financing offense and institute and document the prescribed review. So I guess they found something. There was an allegation of some sort. And when they uncovered it, they're like, oh, these guys didn't do the proper checks. I thought that was pretty crazy. Did you guys go to the CNE this year?
I did not this year.
I was able to successfully escape.
Success. This is the first time in years D has not gone.
That I'm actually really happy for you.
Oh, you went?
No, I didn't go.
Oh, good for you.
But I think I told you that last year was my first year ever going to the CNE, and I was like, like I'm probably good.
Oh yeah, dude, that was actually me the first time I went, and fast forward 3 times later, I was
the
still
CNE
going.
had a fucking casino.
Oh, I didn't know had a casino. I don't know. So by the way, FinTrack,
that's the regulatory authority.
That's the regulatory committee. In 2024-2025, they hand out 23 notices of violations to businesses. So the CNE was one of them, or maybe that was last year. I'm not sure. So since they got the authority to do so in 2008, they've given out 150. Do you guys think that's a low number or a high number?
I think it's low.
It's kind of low, yeah.
Kind of low, right?
In like what, 6 years?
It probably just has to. In 6 years or 1 year?
Since 2008.
Really?
That's when they received the authority to do it. So up until now, they've given out 150.
It's probably
and
like
this past year they gave 23.
Like regulation where like you just have to like prove everything beyond like a certain level of doubt, right? Like, do you think like I would assume like the same organization in the States where at like at a state level probably does more. Like I would guess like in California there's probably more.
Yeah, I mean keep in mind California is bigger than all of Canada, but like population wise, but I'm just thinking with the amount of financial activity, and maybe we don't properly understand the purview of FinTrack's, but I think FinTrack is for any money services businesses. if I'm correct. But yeah, like I think that's pretty low. I'm sure there's a lot more money laundering and illegal activity with immigrants doing a lot of stuff with assets.
Immigrants.
I'm just gonna keep it like that, like as general as that. And with TD being like notorious for being one of the banks, like if you're a money launderer, go bank with TD. Like I'm sure there's
Is that a
this.
thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like there's this.
Was that what their fine was about in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what their
It's
fine
like the
was.
biggest is the biggest, but like
Yeah.
even before that fine, like it was just kind of a thing too.
I mean, people want to be okay with money laundering until it no longer suits them.
It's just like something.
then they have to prosecute it.
Money laundering is always like you look at any crime and at the highest level it's money laundering, like anything. Like seriously, like if you look at the last 20 years, like you look at, for example, I was reading today like this really big scandal that happened in the Canada space. Top of it, money laundering. Same thing with this like banking like Ponzi scheme that like happened like I think like a few years back. At the top, it's always cleaning money. Like there's always one guy somewhere. No one knows where he like which country he's from.
Ozarks.
But sorry, just last thing before you move on to the next one. It's just like when you read fines, like okay, like they fined them $200K. Like it, like I don't know how much that casino generated in like revenue. I feel like that $200K is nothing.
It's
like maybe
probably
like-
definitely well, it's definitely a slap on the wrist considering as well. This is only an administrative fine. So there's no like criminal aspect of this.
fair.
They
Yeah,
fail
so
to
it's like-
report things.
Yeah,
So
like
this is like the bare
documentation,
minimum their
yeah.
fines get, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So, and I'm sure the fines are all proportionate to how much money is like processed and
I hope so.
and given about.
Yeah.
Anyways, next up on the docket, Giorgio Armani has passed away. I don't know. I sent this in the group chat. I got zero response.
I
from
was
it.
gonna say you putting this,
I got zero response
putting
from
this
it.
on the pod. I was like, no one cares about this.
Why
except
does no
you.
one care about Giorgio Armani
No,
dying?
we were talking about this at work, but I just like what did you want me to respond?
I was
I
gonna
don't know.
say
I just thought,
Armani.
I was like, oh,
You
sad.
buy
You know?
Can you afford Armani?
I don't even have
Armani.
like I was gonna say I don't
Armani.
have
Armani can be. Yeah, you can get Armani.
No, not Armani Exchange.
Yeah, because I was
No,
gonna
not
say that's a
exchange.
common.
No, not Armani Exchange.
Yeah.
I don't know
It looked
that.
like
Maybe I
fucking
could get
idiot
one
in high
piece
school.
of clothing from
In
Armani.
fairness, the only
Bro,
the only person that has designer clothing in this house is you. So yeah, it would be you that could afford it.
Right.
Bro, dude, in high school, I fully went to Eaton Center, and I think I saw the Armani Exchange store there, and I walked in, and I was like, "Huh, this is really expensive, but like not within like not crazy." So like, I think I saved up and bought a beanie, and I thought I was hot shit, bro. And then like I think I was talking to like this Bob dude, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's very nice. You can get the real one on their website." And I was
Oh,
like, what do you
shit.
mean? And he was like showing me.
Not the real
It wasn't
one.
the same price. That's all I'm saying.
Not the real one. It's always pretty bad.
10 years later, and you're getting Arc'teryx hats now.
Well, I'm not.
Huge upgrade.
I'm still not. I'm definitely not buying Armani anytime soon. But you know what, man? Like,
By the way, there's like different levels of Armani.
yes,
Like,
Armani
like-
Exchange is like the
Yeah,
equivalent
and-
of like a warehouse blowout sale.
Yeah,
like,
and there's also Emporio Armani. That's not real. That's
also
not.
not
That's not our.
So,
this-
the group is it's Emporio Armani, Armani Exchange, and then the higher end Giorgio Armani.
Giorgio
yeah, it's
Armani
Giorgio
is the
Armani.
yeah.
So
one
a,
that
sh-
matters,
a
yeah.
T-shirt like the one I'm wearing from their denim collection at Giorgio Armani. Let's go.
I'm guessing 800 euros.
Okay.
I'm guessing like a T-shirt itself,
Maybe
like
lower,
$500-600.
maybe 300 euros. But
Which dollar? Pick a dollar.
US dollar.
I'd say okay. I
don't know, I'm just going off
crazy.
US.
I'm gonna go like 300 euro.
Okay. 850 Canadian. For a T-shirt.
600.
Yeah, that's what I was like. When you said
Yeah.
600
Jesus
USD,
Christ.
like
Yeah.
maybe like 700 USD, because you know
That's
US
not
is
too
tanking.
far off. Like that'd be
No,
like
when you said 800 euro,
400 euros, maybe 500.
800 euro is
euro.
not bad. Just
Yeah.
you got to divide that.
Yeah.
yeah, 800 was right. The currency was wrong.
How much is an Armani suit? Because I know like that's like
Thousands.
that's the thing. Like,
So yeah, like I see a blazer here for 35.
3,500 or 1,000
Canadian.
Okay, I was like
No,
3,500.
wait, what is 3,500? In
Just multiply by 1.4.
no, I'm saying 3,500 is 3,500.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, like a Dior suit will be close to that, and I'd rather get an Armani.
Yeah. No, anyways, yeah. Shout out to Armani. Like, we're talking about your prices now that you're dead.
Yeah, well, I thought the interesting thing about this article actually was, so apparently there's no succession plan in place
For Armani,
for his company. Yeah, the group, the Armani group.
and they're like,
Is it still owned?
They're independent. Yeah.
They are. Yeah, it's still, so it's his. So a lot of people fear the empire will end with his death, but he told the Financial Times in 2023 that although he was scared to die, he was working to ensure his legacy and style and footprint would endure. So he probably had some plan, but there is no clear succession plan that people are aware of. His family might get involved. Who knows, right?
Interesting.
Nieces
LVMH
Roberta
guy
and Silvana Armani work for the group, while Andrea Camerana, his nephew, is a board member. Those are the closest people to him, I guess, that are a part of it. What do you guys think is going to happen to the group?
LVMH, caring.
Yeah, that's probably the most likely.
And they're just going to come and gobble it up.
But it's like, man, it's just like the commoditization of things,
Yeah.
It's like when you start looking like more and more at like the top, all our brands from the cheapest to the most luxury are just like being consolidated.
Yeah, and that's one of those things because I believe Armani is Italian. Like I think the difference between
LVMH is French.
Yeah, it's French, but what I was more gonna say is like I think the Italian fashion houses specifically have not been consolidated.
Yes,
I might be tripping. Like they've managed to stay like actual fashion houses as opposed to like a big conglomerate. So
they don't need
interesting.
the scale of like LVMH, right? Because like
they all need the scale, dude.
They all need the scale, but like LVMH.
Well, they don't need it. They all would love
like,
the scale.
You have to think about like LVMH's strategy is a bit different from like an Armani's, because like LVMH is concerned about all aspects of luxury. Like they're concerned about luxury drink. Like
they're pretty much a conglomerate at this point.
like they want their stuff in like hotels.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas,
I'm pretty sure they have hotels. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like at Armani's, like we want, like we're the peak in like luxury fashion, and like obviously we want to be luxurious, but like they don't have as much I think operational cost because they don't need that full omni.
Yeah, I totally agree. We'll see. We'll see if they survive and if they can evolve with the times.
Well, rest in peace, Giorgio Armani. The last thing on the docket today, before we get into our topics, is, and this one was mainly for D, but the NFL season has kicked off.
Whoop, whoop.
It's in full swing. What a huge week for the Bills. Huge week for the Bills.
Insane game.
Great game.
They ended up winning by 1 point. They were down like 40 to what?
25
or 25 at
40 to 25 at the beginning of the fourth quarter, a 15-point comeback.
Gosh.
I think Josh Allen threw for like 200 yards in the fourth quarter, which is like it was like a whole game in the fourth quarter. So yeah, it was insane. Derrick Henry ran roughshod like in the first half. Like I think Derrick Henry had like 120 yards in the first quarter of the game.
Derrick Henry was playing like he had a VR headset on and he was playing Madden.
Yeah, I remember you were saying that he's playing real life Madden.
He's playing real life Madden just with a VR headset. Yeah. He's in there. He's just running. You turn collision off. You can just run through people. I say he got hit hard in the thigh at one point. Did not slow down.
Yeah,
he just kept walking.
I mean, I think the commentators were saying Derrick Henry is the only person that like makes grown men look like babies. Like he just
forces just.
That's what happened when you're a running back and you're built like a fucking linebacker.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the Chiefs unfortunately had.
They looked like ass, bro.
Yeah, they were.
They had moments.
Yeah, they had moments.
They had
like,
real good moments, and like that one throw from Mahomes, that offhand throw. Like,
but moments don't change that you look like ass. It's like spraying, like what's it called?
Perfume on shit.
Perfume on shit. Yeah, exactly, it's like you'll have a moment, like
no, it's like, dude, as the person who has the least football knowledge, like if your best plays as Mahomes was like you running, like you with like your unathletic frame running for like yardage, bro, like we're not doing well,
dude. Not at all. Just ass. So yeah, they've got to figure it out, or this is the end.
Who was it? Number 97 was it?
I think so.
I think, bro, just full star.
Oh, 70, yeah, Juwan Taylor.
74,
74.
I think.
Joanne Taylor. Oh my goodness.
What was going on there, bro?
Yeah.
And Travis Kelce like got up in his face at one point. He was just screaming at
Yeah,
him.
he was screaming at him.
I'd be pissed too, man. Like, it was what, 4 or 5 penalties he got?
4.
4?
Yeah, and
It
the whole
felt
team
like
the whole team got 10. So he was like him alone was 40% of the penalties for the whole team was like 60 people or like 50. Let's just say 40 people playing. But yeah, it's just ass. What other games happened?
There was the Cowboys game on Thursday.
Yeah, the Cowboys looked good. The Jaguars looked good. The Steelers looked good. Yeah, the Cowboys
look good. I'll tell you, CeeDee Lamb lost in that game.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb lost the Cowboys that game. He dropped like 3 big passes.
He did. Yeah.
He dropped 3 big passes. Each one would have been like 30 yards.
Yeah, I think so. Like Dak looked much better than he looked last year. Much better than I remember.
Their
it looking.
defense was good too.
Yeah, the defense was okay. Like much better than I thought it would be. Like so I was genuinely impressed with the Cowboys. The Steelers surprised me. Yeah, like this to the Green Bay Packers with Micah Parsons.
Right.
Yeah, they looked phenomenal.
The Packers.
Yeah, they looked absolutely like they looked like they were gonna just run over anybody that was in their way. And yeah, we'll see this evening how the Chicago Bears look like with Caleb Williams and the Vikings. So yeah, it's a great start to the season. My fantasy, great on one, like 50 points on the other for the week, which is like sad. You know what I mean? Bro. So
that's so sad.
Yeah, it's been tough. I also joined like a pick'em league this year where I just pick what's it called, teams to win. Every week, and like it was okay. This week we'll what's it called? Today I think I'm 7th right now, and
It's not bad.
this week, out of like 15 or like 12.
I have George Kittle on my fantasy league, and he started out the game really well. He got a touchdown. He got 12 points right off the rip. And I'm waiting. The Oppo was in the no frills. I'm waiting for him outside. I get a notification on my phone. George Kittle injured, out for the rest of the game.
in like the first quarter.
It's a hamstring. Yeah, it's the first quarter. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Also, I'm gonna say this right now. This is separate from DNRia, so this is a Luke promise. We are going to the Chiefs versus Bills game, November 3rd, right?
November 3rd.
Yeah.
November 2nd or 3rd?
I don't know, one of those.
No, November 2nd. Sunday, November 2nd.
Yeah, so the first Sunday of November, if we get 10 subscribers from this episode, I will make a sign with the top comment and I will bring it to the game. So that is my promise.
I love that.
There's going to be no promo of this, so it's only the true fans. Run it up. You got at least 9 friends. If I see 10 subscribers from this video, top comment, I will make a sign and I will bring it to the game. I'll take photos there. It'll go on our Instagram. It's a promise. So
you heard it here first. So we know there's people who listen to this podcast. We know there's loyal fans who listen to this podcast. You're already subscribed. Luke's right. Just get some friends. Do it up.
yes, sir.
All right. Well, shout out to the beginning of the NFL season. Let's hope it's a good one.
Excited.
Boys, so there was a development recently with Trump again. So we're going to talk about Trump a little bit.
Never a surprise. Just like, what is it this time?
It's been one thing after another this year.
Yeah.
It really has. But basically what has happened here is Trump has signed an executive order. He loves them. Fantastic executive order, best executive orders of all time. Yeah.
Oh my God.
He wants to rename the Pentagon back to the Department of War. So there's like the Department of Defense is there. You know, he wants to remove the sign. I think there was videos of people removing the Department of Defense sign so he can make it the Department of War again. I'll let D speak to this a little bit too, because he's the one who found the article, but as well from the article, some of the context here. So it used to be called the Department of War. It was renamed Defense in 1949 to emphasize deterrence during the Cold War. It was a post-World War norm. It was designed to make the U.S. seem more defensive rather than offensive. And I guess after dropping 2 bombs the size of mountains on a city, you might need that that PR.
I think in Japan they called it a miniature sun. So
A miniature sun.
that describes the true like horror.
I was
nuclear
watching
warfare.
a video of the Hiroshima bombing, and at one point it said, "For a moment, temperatures reached hotter than the surface of the sun, instantly vaporizing everything in its path."
Yeah,
Is
there's
that
a,
real?
That's real.
there's a video out there called "Could You Survive like basically a millionth of a nanosecond on the sun?" And the answer, I will save you the 20-minute video,
Of course,
is no.
no. Like,
No. So think about it. For a moment, that bomb generate. And by the way, I don't know if you guys knew this. The bomb, and we won't talk about this too long. This is just interesting because it came off the back of my head. But the bomb actually detonated several meters in the sky.
Yeah.
Like it didn't hit the ground and then explode. It exploded at a predetermined distance from the ground. When it reached there, it was like a internal GPS that could track it. It was like in the sky, like literally a sun forms.
isn't it
And you're
kind of like
vaporized.
just like insane that we could harness that power? It's
Dude.
kind of incredible.
Crazy.
If you ever want to like just like talk about the horrors of like nuclear bombs and war and stuff, just go talk to my dad, bro. Like he'll fucking like sometimes I accidentally like, you know how like you'll trigger one of my Hannibal ramblings, like I'll accidentally be like, oh, you know, but like I think a year or two ago I was at my parents' place and I was like, you know, like nuclear bombs, like I was basically just like, what are the differences between nuclear bombs? Because you just hear like, you know, all countries have like thousands of these things. And he was like, first of all, like, you know, nuclear bombs are not the most destructive weapons we have. And I was like, explain. And then he was like, well, some of those things are like completely banned, like biological weapons. And then he was more so talking about like hydrogen bombs and like the difference between hydrogen and uranium based like nuclear weapons and things like that. And anyway, it's just like, yeah, like it's crazy because when you think about it, like what a nuke effectively is like you take the brilliance of human beings, like, and you stack them over centuries because it's like we're talking about like fundamental understandings of like matter and physics and chemistry. And then you basically take that understanding and be like, how can we cause the most destruction like possible? And that is like the result. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like the same way we can be like, oh, like, you know, now in a lot of countries, like the average lifespan is like 80 years old. You read about it, like, you know, even like as recent as a century ago in the US, the lifespan was like 55, you know, like same things that like change those things. Yeah, we can also make a nuke with it.
Really, 100 years ago, the lifespan was like 50.
Maybe not 100, maybe 150 to 200,
Okay,
but like
yeah.
it was very recent where the age, like the average age in the US was like 55
It
years
shot
old.
up
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if it was 100 years
'Cause
ago.
100
shortly
people
after
were-
vaccines. I'm sorry.
Yeah, or like I think it was giving birth, like when they
Yeah, and like
birth rate, yeah.
antibiotics and like some of these things like were big game changers. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 100 years ago. We can quickly fact check that.
Yeah, well, you know, to get back to this article, anyways, it stirred up quite a bit of controversy. I don't know if you guys have been seeing like commentary online. Like, I see tons of Twitter pundits like wanting to get their 2 cents in. I think it's concerning to a certain extent, obviously, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think about it. I think there's definitely many implications here. Like, obviously, I think with the way my brain works, with my experience and stuff, like, I immediately start thinking about like global implications. Like, how do people like interpret this? How does relationships with the U.S. change as a result of this? Things like that. But I know there's a lot more to this. First of all, let me ask you guys: do you guys think this is like symbolic, or do you think there's like, is he literally positioning the U.S. for war, or is this just more so theater? I don't know what you guys think. What do you think?
I don't
And
know.
I know I'm asking a high task to peer into the mind of Donald J. Trump, and figure out how this little thing works. It's like a Rubik's Cube. You know, you're just like playing with it a little bit.
You know, I all I can say is this: as someone who works in marketing, there's a common saying where it's like, it'll make sense. Don't worry.
Okay,
This is like how we have these conversations.
Stick the
by the way.
landing.
There's a common saying which is 80% of marketing does absolutely nothing, and then 20% drives all the results, and no one knows which is which. This is what I think about Trump. Like, I think 20% of what he does is like very calculated and serious, and 80% is him just being like, this seems like a good idea to do today, and like, I don't know which is which. Like, to be honest with you, like,
No, you stuck the landing. That was good.
You don't know which actually drives the results because like he'll say something, stock market goes. He'll do something, stock market drops. You know, like I have no idea.
Because it's like it's kind of this old thought where it's like, like an artist or something like putting together certain words and then like someone hyper analyzes it and is like, oh, this is the deep connection. It's like, did the artist actually think about this beforehand, or did they just make it and it happened? Like, I don't know if Trump actually like thinks he could, you know what I mean? And he would have the resources, I guess, as one of the most powerful men in the world to make those calculations where like, I'm going to do this and this is going to connect to this, or like, these are the 5 ways it can go. But I'm also kind of inclined to think maybe he doesn't think about a lot of these things at all. I don't know. Like, I genuinely don't know.
So according to Trump, his justification for this was that the Department of War is a much more appropriate name given today's threats. This was his justification for
in
it.
comparison to,
And then who's the defense secretary, Pete Hegseth?
yeah.
He also said we're not just defense, we're offense. Maximum lethality, not tepid legality. Those are his.
What does not tepid legality? What does break that sentence down?
I'll tell you right now what tepid legality is. Everybody. It seems like everybody but Americans like know what tepid legality is because when they refer to Americans, they call Americans litigious.
That's what I was gonna
Right?
say.
The Americans are very litigious.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Which is honestly like there's pros and cons, right? Because you want a system you can rely on, and you want a system that people are going to use, but people are also at the same time going to abuse that system. That's not what this conversation is about, anyways. That's just more of a character reference. I just thought it was interesting how he's trying to apply this to the national narrative. I don't know. Me personally, I think it's a big problem if the world starts looking, because think about it. What's China trying to say about the U.S.? What's the picture they're trying to paint about the U.S.? That they're unnecessarily aggressive. The U.S. is unnecessarily aggressive. They do all these things that they don't need to do. And this is kind of playing into that narrative as well, right?
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, you have like NATO's mission, which is now a little bit more skewed. NATO is, in essence, the U.S. defense system. Right, like the U.S. contributes more to NATO than any other country. I think all the other countries.
That might be Trumpism you just did there.
What?
Like, I don't think NATO would say that. I think that's Trump incepting that thought into your mind, being like NATO is the U.S. Because if you recall, Trump like went heavy on that messaging. He's like, we are NATO, because like we should just be NATO because we. They are.
They contribute the most amount of money to it, and it's not even close.
Right, but it's like one of those things where like. Okay, sorry, I don't want me to derail.
That's
this.
fine.
Yeah, no,
I get where I'm coming from. I get your point exactly.
Then you would say like the UN is the U.S. and the WHO is the U.S.
Yes,
and like if we say
the economy
NATO
is the US.
Yeah.
All this to say, the U.S. definitely heavily influences what goes on in NATO, right?
They do.
And NATO being the defense mechanism it's supposed to be, this kind of positioning will skew that. Because when you have such an influential figure as the U.S. as a part of NATO, and their main directive or operative right now is going to be offense as opposed to defense, it skews what NATO is for. And I think that's going to intimidate or add some trepidation into NATO members. I'm curious to hear what you guys think, but so far, kind of what comes out.
Like, I think it's both. I think it is posturing, and I also think it is positioning for war. Like he's trying to kill, I would give him both because one, like, okay, the Department of War, it's like a name change. Like, they're still
great. I mean, like
policy changes. By the way, it's literally just a name change. Nothing else is.
And by the way, this name change might not even stick because to change the name to the Department of War, Congress has to like vote on it, and it needs to get signed into law. And like all things with Trump, he just did an executive order. He was like, yeah, Congress will figure it out. I'm sure they'll vote on this. So we don't even know if this is going to stick, right? But like, marketing, like he wants... like we're finding out the tariffs might not even stick after like
tariffs have not stuck.
Well, like
it's been a year and tariffs have not stuck.
No, like tariffs are making like $50 billion a month in revenue for the U.S. So like they're there, but like I mean like are they gonna stay like are they gonna be a thing and stay? It's like, oh, this whole thing could have been illegal the whole time. Like Trump he was just saying shit and signing shit.
It is true that, like, to be completely fair, none of these things have even had more than a year, like not even a year to roll out.
They haven't had a year. He got elected in January, for God's sake. It's not we're just in September. He's done
Retail
so much.
investors are pulling their hair out.
Bro.
Trump's like, what's today? Let's just pull a name
Dude,
out of a hat.
I'm
God,
at this
it's
point,
the
I
worst.
might buy a GIC, bro.
Bro, it's actually, I know I'm laughing,
I
but
bought a
it's
GIC actually. not even no word of a lie about a GIC.
I got a pretty good offer from CIBC for a GIC. I might do it. Like,
yeah, no, but like all of that to say, I do think a lot of this is posturing. Like this might not stick, but guess what? The Trump's Department of War is going to reverberate like globally. Like already saying, like I won't go as far as it's gonna change NATO's mission, but I get the sense of I'm not just saying I get the sentiment of it's reverberating like globally and like it's gonna have the effect. And like in terms of just like is he positioning for war? Like I would say like absolutely like the video of Trump, I said Trump, of Putin, Modi,
yep.
Your guy, Big Xi. And apparently Kim Jong-un was fucking fiddling around there as well. And like the head of like the Democratic Republic of Congo and some other like random places that don't necessarily mean anything good. Like just floating around in that meeting, and like there is the face of that. So I do think like yes, he's also saying you guys can do that, but like I'm also like gonna be here doing my thing, and I'm getting all the richest people in the world to sit down with me and have dinner. So I think he's doing both. I think he's trying to like do names matter in shaping global perception? Like absolutely. I think he's trying to
they do.
He's trying to shift
It's politics.
Yeah, it's politics.
Diplomacy is words.
It's words, and he's playing with that, and it's just gonna be so hilarious if none of this sticks. It's like it's still gonna have the effect. That's the funny thing. It's still gonna it's still gonna be known as like Donald Trump wanted to change it to, and like he's gonna like that same mentality is the mentality he's coming into these negotiations not with the Department of Defense, even though that's the name.
With the Department of War.
He's coming in with the Department of War. So he's clearly saying, hey man, like I'm not like threatening anymore. I'm flying B-2 bombers over your head.
Yeah, well, I'd say too, like I think the reason why this has so much traction in the U.S. and people are actually like concerned about it, or it's controversial, is because it's aligned with what he's been doing all year, right? Like dismantling USAID, like Voice of America, foreign aid, all of these things, right? Like all these like measures to inject diplomacy into the rest of the world and like talk and peace and defense and whatnot. All of that's kind of slowly going out the window. So people are more on the side of this seems like a more serious proposition. Yeah. Just because it's aligned with behaviors from, I was going to say past behaviors, literally from the past like 6 months.
I don't know. Like, would you say though, like this like current present time is more tense than other times? Like since Trump's been elected? I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, to be honest, it does feel like, when the Israel Iran stuff was going on, like that I would probably say was way more intense than what's currently going on.
Wow.
But I brought up this because I
saw Luke Googling some crazy shit.
I just another Luke YouTube deep dive. Didn't know, like I kind of knew about this through Delapo, but I didn't know about the way the Nigerian government handled this. But like similar thing, like basically like there was this thing called the special what was it?
Oh, SARS is not the disease.
No, there is that.
It's the special
in terms of what Luke is.
It's the special anti-robbery squad. So this was like the military police that Dee was talking about in Nigeria that would like do like literally heinous things, like rob your vehicle in broad daylight.
Like if I go to Nigeria with dreadlocks, like they would stop my car, tell me I'm a fraudster, and like probably take me to prison.
The anti-robbery squad.
Yes.
So was performing
welcome
robberies.
to third world countries.
Yes. So basically,
why not just call it the robbery squad?
Because it's police.
Well, apparently, when it was first created, it was created to combat like rising crime, which it was successful at doing for a year, and then they started to fill in the gaps of the crime.
Yeah.
Because they solved all the crime, and they were like, you know what, now let's do
Then
it.
they became the biggest criminal. But yeah,
And then, but anyway, so like what had happened, sorry, just to connect it back to this naming thing, right? Like what had happened was like, there was a lot of global pressure, like a bunch of hacking groups were going in and like they took down like the Nigerian central bank's website and like a bunch of these other things. So the government, like after like years of pressure, they finally just like, they quote unquote erased it. But what they did was they just opened up another organization, slightly different name, different uniforms, exact same personnel,
exact same people,
and they thought they could just like pull a fast one, I guess, on the Nigerian people.
No, not only did they think they were successful,
I guess they were.
Don't get me wrong, like police brutality is still like a big issue in Nigeria, but yeah, like
same thing as this.
It's
you know,
the same
like,
thing. Yeah, just
rebrand,
and like now it's like, oh fuck, like you know, it was very easy to come up with a hashtag SARS, but like now it's like, what's the new hashtag? I don't even like. True to form, like I don't even know what the name of the new like thing is, but I do know there was a new one and they rebranded, and I believe they changed like their uniform as well too.
They did. Like, I think it's special tourism.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, you got to put SARS Nigeria or else it's gonna come with thing, but I do
special weapons and tactics squad.
Oh, SWAT. Okay, they changed they changed it from SARS to SWAT. But I was gonna say, I think one other thing, and I'm curious what you guys, and this is a little bit of a broader issue, that the New York Times article was bringing up was soft power versus hard power, right? Because like the US soft power framework was kind of like the aid framework. You know, the USAID, we're going to contribute, we're going to spread democracy, but really, you know, go fight war in Vietnam. And like, you know, like that was the regime that kind of came in when the Secretary of Defense
and this is
like, you know what I mean? And like, so soft power, just cajoling, like pretending to be friendly, meanwhile doing all these covert ops, like in all these countries. And that's soft power versus hard power now, which is the Department of War. Keep in mind, like Arya said, Trump is, you know, eliminating all these aid programs, eliminating all these. He's like, hey, like we got issues on our side. We're not trying to help anybody. In fact, you guys pay us because like we're the motherfucking Mac Daddies here. and then creating creating a Department of War, and like so they're like the article was talking about soft power versus hard power and how the U.S. is entering its hard power era. And I guess I'm curious, like, you know, if you had a boss or you had a leader, like, you know, would you prefer like them like wielding soft power over you or hard power? And I guess like that's on a personal level, and then we can talk about like, you know, on a macro level, you know, like obviously things can change. Just happy to be a hypocrite where I prefer soft power on a macro and hard power, vice versa. But I'm just curious how you guys think on personal, and then you can speak about.
I think I think this is a really good part of the conversation actually, because that's like the most important part of the conversation. The U.S., I'm fairly certain, and you know we can debate this too. Maybe like was hard power to start, right? Because that's pretty much all they had. But with the introduction of globalization after World War II, right, you need relationships in order to survive on a global scale and like to have longevity as a global influence of power. And I think the only way to achieve that is soft power, right? Like being able to get into a room, be diplomatic, build relationships, build alliances. I think the only way to do that is soft power. If you are hard power all the time, you are essentially like a North Korea or a Russia, you know what I mean? Something like that, which sure, you know, we see great successes in their own right, you know what I mean? Like a long lasting nation, many citizens, you know, they have a grip of their own military. They probably have some insane weapons. You know, they've succeeded in many rights themselves. However, they are relatively shut off from the rest of the world, right? And long term, that puts you at risk as a nation that's trying to grow and be a center of influence for everybody. So in order to invite that influence in and for people to listen to, I think the soft power is necessary. That's like on a personal opinion that I have. Like for longevity, hard power works for certain people, and depending on what your goals are, right? Like if longevity is not your main goal right now and you need to win a war immediately, yeah, absolutely you need to be hard power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or if alliances are not necessary, which I don't see how that could be a reality in 2025. But if alliances are not necessary, then yeah, go hard power. Everyone on this planet was hard power at one point. There was no such thing as diplomacy, but soft power is diplomacy. And I just see that as too integral and too crucial to like.
And what about on your personal life? If you had a boss, same thing.
If I had a boss, yeah, I mean, like I also respond better to soft power. I think I respond better to soft power. It makes me feel like I have a voice.
Okay,
Yeah.
you go.
I think like for me, it's the answer's like it depends. Like I think it's like the classic question, like the more simplified version of this question is, what is better, authoritative leadership versus democratic leadership? Like I think it's a more dumbed down version of this. And I think the answer in both of these cases is it depends on the degree of complexity in the situation. The more complex a situation is, the more necessary it is to have soft power. The least complex the situation is, the least necessary it is to have soft power. Hard power in all is more efficient. But if the situation is very complex, efficiency can create more chaos. There's like a common saying in like a lot of sports, which is slow is smooth and smooth is fast, right? It's that idea. Like the more complex something, the more you want to make sure that each like thing is handled properly, so you don't have to now go back and like redo things, right? Whereas like let's say it's like everyone's bought in, this is the enemy, like okay, hard power is super efficient at just getting that done. So I think like for example, to connect that to like the personal thing, in my current job, like where I'm working at like an agency setting of marketing, soft power is more necessary because it's like you are dealing with multiple different stakeholders. Some of those stakeholders are internal, some of those are external. But if you are like, let's say a factory worker, where like when I did work, you know, like as a server, for example, I wouldn't necessarily want soft power. I just want those clear lines, like do this, get paid, go home, right? Like that's that sort of thing. So I think for me, it depends on the complexity.
Yeah, no, I think
That's an excellent take.
yeah, I was gonna say I think you answered that like 10 out of 10, and I like the slow is smooth, smooth is fast. I never heard that before, but yeah, I'm gonna keep that going forward. But yeah, no, I think it's very similar. Yeah, like you're dealing with people, like lots of people, lots of things.
Yep.
Like you're talking about diplomacy, like handling like a bunch of countries. Like yeah, you absolutely need soft power. You need to be able to take that guy into a corner, shake his hand, make a deal here, and then come back, smile with everybody, make another, like take somebody else into another corner, make another deal with terms completely different from the one deal you've made there, and like make them feel great and say, hey, this is a, you know, I'm only offering you. So like I totally do get that. But I was gonna say like in one-on-one situations, like I prefer just give like fuck leave the platitudes alone. Like you know what I mean? Like just give it to me. Like tell me like am I fucking up or am I not? Like I'd rather not like, you know, be in a limbo period where I have to, you know what I mean? Like be in my head about like, you know, because that's where all the creativity happens, when I'm in my head about like what your expectations are and what I'm delivering, right? But
I think
yeah, I
like,
don't know.
the tricky thing is, like my kind of thought there is like a hard power is much more well defined. It's kind of like I have these missiles, so if you do this, I'm firing these missiles. I think the thing about soft power is when it's done well, it does feel like it's partially defined, but it's not. And that's the really like, that's the advantage of it, right? Like you can kind of almost put an ally or an opposition in a situation where you're like, these are the rules of the engagement, but like you actually fundamentally understand that those are not the rules of engagement.
Yeah.
And there might be something else going on. But I also think like that's why it's like so much harder to do kind of thing. Like when it works, like for example, like I almost think like soft power is like a thing at my agency that like as they're growing, it's becoming way harder to employ and deploy among people. And as AI is being introduced and like all these shakeups in the industry, it's becoming way and way more like disorganized, right? Like you guys can probably see even just among conversations within ourselves. Like I didn't know this. I checked on LinkedIn. This is probably like the longest I've worked at a company since I've graduated.
It is, yeah.
Like it's like I've been here for
2
like
years.
2.5 years, more than 2.5 years, and I was like, wow, I'm kind of surprised. I was just like checking back on my things, and I was like, yeah, like it is a different feeling now than like when I first joined the agency, and I think it's that the degree of complexity is making that soft power a little bit more like, and then funny enough, I think one of the natural responses to soft power being shaken up is you transition to hard power.
Yeah.
You can kind of see it from like a political standpoint. You can kind of see it from an organizational company standpoint
Start
post-COVID.
firing people,
you know, now people are employing, go back to the office. Like PIPs are becoming a way bigger thing, I feel like nowadays than in the past. Like performance plans, performance review plans, things like that, like are just, and like in the past it was more like, oh, let's.
I'll say to your point, D. I think soft power doesn't necessarily exclude an open model of direct communication, right? Like you can get that, you can get harsh feedback and you can get direct feedback even in a soft power model. If that's what is required as part of the terms of your diplomacy with your superior, then that's what will be given, right? And that's the whole point of soft power, is like an approachable method to each individual person, a deal that you make with each individual person that's different than the other person. So you can theoretically get that, you know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily mean that you're shut off from that, but it's more from a structural perspective. I think soft power is relevant as opposed to the individual convert. Does that make sense?
No, I totally get it. And I guess while both of you were talking, something that just came to my mind is soft power cannot exist without hard power.
No.
Hard power can exist without soft power.
Yeah.
Like for you to be able to like, you know, like impose soft power on anybody, like it needs to be clearly established that you can have a significant, like it needs to be established that I can bomb your country, you know, you can fire me.
You,
Like, you get what I mean? Like it needs, like that needs to be defined and clear. And then after that, then it's not like, you know, I can fire you. But let's not get there. Like, let's try and work this out before you know I have to really flex. So I guess that's
it's still power at the end of the day, right? Like we have to remember, it's like soft power, hard power is still power. Power means like I can impose will upon you.
My will on you.
Anybody's will. I can impose will upon you, and you're just gonna have to take it. But it's like, do you want to be open to that power, or you just want me to impose it right away?
Things just go always back and forth, right? Like it's funny because I was like thinking, even from a soft and hard power perspective, like movies have started to become more hard power. Like I feel like we had this phase in the last 3 to 5 years with like even like you like the classic examples you look at superhero movies, right? Like they're starting to make like heroes and villains like so like morally ambiguous and like edgy and all this stuff, and then people are just like, I'm tired of this. And then you watch like the most recent Superman, it's like, this is just a super good guy with every redeeming quality possible. And this evil guy is completely evil. No justice. You know what I mean? It's like, it's always just cyclical.
Let's get back to...
It's cyclical. We're going back to a hard power era for sure. Dude.
No, it's funny. And like, it's one of those things too, where like the analogy of work you're given, and we can leave here. It's like, after a while, like of being in a soft power regime, it's like, you know,
people get comfortable.
People get comfortable. You know, like you might have to remind people. I know, like I've heard this in places I've worked before, where they're like, oh yeah, like when you work here, like they don't fire people. Like for you to get fired, like you have to like really,
do some bad shit.
Fuck up. And it's like someone's telling me this on one air, and I was speaking to somebody else, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I got put on PIP." I'm like, "Oh, what is?" I was like,
"That's a person that entered in like a soft era."
Do you get what I mean?
Like, the whole thing is emblematic of soft era, right? Because it's like no one knows that this is being imposed.
You're right,
and someone's just gonna get it one day. But everyone's under the same expectation. That is like a textbook. Like soft power does that, where you see different results and different impositions between your neighbors.
I have a like, so sorry, just to kind of like end off the podcast here.
I actually have one more question after this, but do your thing.
Okay. Maybe ask yours, because mine is a little bit unrelated.
No, it's fine. Go for it.
I was kind of just thinking, like, you know, like if someone needs to leave the company as a leader, is it better to just like be upfront about why that happened, or no? Like, you know what I mean? I feel like it's a complex situation, because it's like, like speaking about the hard versus soft thing, right? Because like the soft approach is like maybe like you kind of misconstrue the message a little bit and say, you know, hey, like this person had some family. Like, let's say I had to fire D, and I sat down with him, and I was like, dude, like, look,
of course it's me that gets fired. But I'm joking. You fire me.
I had to fire the tissue
Don't
box.
fire me.
So I'm like, D, it's not working out. Like, you know, like you're not delivering. We're gonna have to let you go. And let's say I'm like, I don't want this to be a big thing. You know, like I'm more than happy to give you a reference. I'm happy to make introductions, but you're just not a fit here. I would appreciate it if you like, for me to do that, I would appreciate it if you didn't speak to any of the coworkers or like kept this conversation confidential, whatever, like, you know what I mean? So I solve that problem. Then I go to my company, the rest of the people, and I'm like, hey, D had a personal issue. At this time, he doesn't want to be, it doesn't make sense for him to be a part of the organization, even though that wasn't the reason, right? Because as in someone else, when they hear that, they're like, oh, okay, you know, like it just didn't work, or like it was just like a crossing of the paths, and like I wish him the best, and you feel good about your day, versus like you sit down and the guy's like, look, D wasn't performing and we had to let him go, and then you're thinking like, oh fuck, like I was working on this project with Delapo, like where's their perception on me in terms of my work there, and like is my job at risk? Is the finances of the company going well? Should I start looking for another, you know what I mean? Like what do you think is the approach there?
I have an opinion on this. I think under essentially no circumstance, there's one circumstance which I think is okay. Should an employer comment on the reason behind someone's departure from the company?
So you just say like they're no longer with the firm.
They're no longer here. That's it. You don't need to say anything else. You invite gossip, you invite conversation, and you open yourself up to like liability for what it is that you're saying. So as a company, I think you want to avoid that at any point.
So right? Like, don't even try to damage control. Just
try to damage control. Like he left, you know, that's it. Boom. The one exception that I say is when it's mutual, the leaving, and they're an integral part of the company, and you know you want to say goodbye to them and you want to give them a send off.
But see, that's interesting, right? Because my company does do that. So then it's like, don't you think if then you just get an email that says this person is no longer with the company, then it's automatically assumed that this wasn't mutual.
Yeah, that's fine.
You get kind of like
let people assume is what I'm saying. Don't be the one to perpetuate the narrative. People assuming is gonna happen one way or another. You can't avoid that, and you can't control that. What you can control is what you're exposed to by what it is that you say. And I just think it's not smart for a company to make those comments. Yeah. I just don't think it's nobody's business. Like, what if D didn't want anybody to know about anything?
That's fair. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like. And they're not going to be like, hey, they're not going to have a conversation to be like, do you give us permission to go and tell everybody what happened? Like, that's not an appropriate thing to say during a layoff or a firing. You know what I mean? There's just what I've learned about like employment, like letting go and like firing and things like that, is that there's a lot of gray area, and North Americans are litigious. And as a company, you need to watch yourself with what you say and how you say it and who you say it to.
That's very fair.
Yeah, like I agree with that. Like I guess I am like I agree with like I would say 80% of what you said, but like it depends. Like, am I trying to send a message or do I really give a fuck? Like if I'm trying to send a message, it's like, hey, we had to let so and so go because of performance. You know, like things are slipping. Like, let's tighten up. And companies do this. Like, when people are let go because of performance, like, we know. Like, do you get what I mean? Like, we all know.
You know, but do they tell you? I don't think I've ever had it where I've been told that someone's been fired for performance.
No, like...
You make the assumption.
Okay, like, when there's, like, a big layoff or, like, you get what I mean? Like, stuff like that. Like, I guess, maybe, and I could be completely wrong, right? But, like, in my head, I feel like most of the time, like, people are told, like, hey, like, there's going to be a layoff. We're laying off. Like, I've gotten laid off and, like, and I was in the team and we understood, hey, everybody that's getting laid off. And, like, actually, yeah, the leader of the team did say, he was like, hey, like, you know, the company's not doing that well. and we had to, like let go of all the dead weight. Like, you get what I mean? If like you aren't like functioning and like if you aren't doing the best, like, and I remember it's one of those things where they're like, everybody in the team, like, state what you've done over the last 6 months. Like, you know what I mean? It's like when like when you're doing shit like that. Like,
Wait, this happened at like
like
Jesus
my old
Christ, that's
employer, it was
crazy.
like, yeah, everybody, what have you done in the past 6 months? Blah blah blah, like state it.
Oh, man.
And then it was like there was the first wave, and I thought I was good. And the leaders spoke about the first wave, and then I was part of the second wave. And like, and like he told, like, like he spoke about it. Keep in mind, since I've left, there have been other waves. But like all of this to say, like, I think like if it is performance, or if the company is, if something is like, you absolutely have to disclose. Yes, I think everything you said was like, you don't need to say, hey, this person fucked up this deal. And then we had to leave. Like, yeah, like stuff like that. Don't open yourself to liability. But like for performance, or for like, like I think it's usually for performance or otherwise kind of thing.
I hear what you're saying. I still don't think it's appropriate or a good idea for them to say it. But in this case of a major layoff, there needs to be a response to that, because it's not the employees asking, why did you lay off all these people?
like press.
It's investors asking, why did you lay off all these people? And therefore you need to give a response. And that's why you hear what you hear about mass layoffs. But you will never hear the reason someone got laid off if it's just like a 1-off or a 2-off or a 3-off. I don't think that you'll ever hear that. But I see, yeah, in mass layoff situations, because they have to answer for something.
Yeah, like
you
I mean,
have to be why are you doing? Why are you laying off 5 to 10%?
well, so like again, it might not be in a company all hands, because if 1 or 2 people like are getting, but like in my situation, it was in a team, right? And so the team discussed
more
it.
informal,
Like,
yeah.
right? Like the team discussed. This is like in our team weekly meeting. Like it was discussed. Like people.
The
are
manager
bringing
was
it up.
there?
Yeah, it was the manager.
It
that
does
was
seem like
discussing.
though, if you're gonna get laid off, it's probably gonna happen on a Monday.
It generally happens on a
Mine was supposed to be on a Monday, and then I called it sick, and it was on a Tuesday.
They were not sure if you're gonna get laid off, and then you said that and they were like, you know what, we're putting him in round 2.
Definitely gets laid off.
I have one final question for you guys, and you don't have to answer too lengthy, right? But I really want. I thought this was a really excellent question. So deterrence being, not wanting to partake in violence or encourage war and things like that. Is deterrence better served by like offense type rhetoric or defense type rhetoric? So what we were doing before, or what Trump, the U.S. was doing before, to what Trump is doing now. Do you think because the goal of your military organization is to deter people from attacking, right?
Yeah.
And there's 2 ways to do that. So either you get offensive or you get defensive. Do you think deterrence is better served by the offensive rhetoric or the defensive rhetoric?
I think almost always offensive.
I was gonna say it's
defensive
offensive,
is
yeah.
reactive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like
Purely.
defensive cannot prevent simply because it's reactive, right? Like how
spot
would
on.
a defensive message like sound
Be a
like?
deterrent.
Yeah, well, NATO, for example, right? Like that's defensive. So everything after World War II till now has been defensive, and we haven't.
But that was after the world's largest offensive ever seen.
You're
to
absolutely
man.
right.
Like so.
You're absolutely right. And post World War II norms are part of that defensive rhetoric that kept conflict at such a low level. So we know that it works to a certain extent.
Like,
Can't say it doesn't work.
No, we're saying like that was a reaction to, like, you can't say the post World War II rhetoric without saying World War II.
Yeah.
Right? So that
Right.
like I guess what Luke and I are saying is, for NATO to have been an effective deterrent, World War II had to have happened. Hiroshima had to have happened. The world had to have seen what the capability of NATO and the US was for NATO to be effective.
I understand.
Like to date, NATO is theoretically effective because World War III has not.
I know,
Yeah.
I understand, but you guys also do understand that we were in the offensive rhetoric mode prior to World War II, and that's what led to World War II.
I would argue in many ways NATO is offensive in the sense of like it's not necessarily like being like, oh, we're gonna go kill our enemies before they can be strong enough to hurt us. You know what I mean? But NATO is effectively saying, if you do take action, we will come at you with the might of all of these countries.
Yeah.
Right? Which is the defensive rhetoric. It's not saying we are going to take action. It's saying you need to take action first, and we are going to defend ourselves and defend our allies. The entire rhetoric is pointed around being defensive.
I feel like we're in a semantic argument here.
Yeah,
Because the whole article is about semantics. The whole thing is about semantics.
It's not like, okay, I think the reason why I would say the two are a little bit different is because when you're talking about like what makes something a deterrent in this context, it's about show of force. And
can we Google deterrent? Like, just check what deterrent means, because I totally agree with you on that.
I think it's about like the ability to show force. Do you mind Googling while I'm just speaking? I was gonna say, like, I think just like in this context, like with NATO, I think deterrent is the ability to show force. And I think like that to me is the important part. If you label that as defensive, then I agree that it's defensive. Does that make sense? Yeah. But I would say in this context, it's a little bit different because the naming convention is like is almost like an intent, like a change. Does that make so like the show of force is like, we know NATO can show force, but the equivalent in this situation, maybe to me, would be like if NATO for some reason like they got like a bunch of their armies together and then they went to like a place and they just shot like a bunch of fucking missiles and then they recorded it and then they posted it online.
But they would never do that.
They wouldn't, but I'm saying like that also isn't a declaration of war. That's just a bunch of allies getting together, like let's say in Utah or Nevada or somewhere in the middle of the desert, and then they set up a bunch of like, you know, like tests, fake simulations things, and then they just bomb all of that, and then they post it online, right?
That would be offensive rhetoric.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, fair enough. So maybe I am more on the line of defensive rhetoric, but I'm just saying, like, to me, that would have been the equivalent in this conversation. Yeah. NATO didn't do that, but we're still like, NATO's fully capable of doing that. And
fully
that's
capable.
What we need.
I'll say deterrence in the context of national security discourages or prevents an adversary from taking unwanted actions, such as an armed attack.
Okay, so like offense would be like actively taking action to like stop.
Yeah, I would say. Whereas compellence is encouraging an actor to take a certain action, right?
So this says a show of force or capability, e.g., nuclear weapons, meant to dissuade an opponent from attacking.
So I guess
that adds offensive color to it, though.
So I think
like the neutral definition would be to keep people from taking unwanted actions.
I think the semantic
discourages or
like,
prevents.
Like, is knowledge of nuclear weapons enough, or do you need to like see what they can?
Well, how do you have knowledge of a nuclear weapons? You have to see that they have it, or you have to read that they have it, or you have to like.
But you don't really need to truly understand.
Or someone has to claim that they have it.
Claiming that you have it is not good enough. Like, Iran can claim they have nuclear weapons. If we don't see a nuclear weapon test, no one's going to take you seriously.
People have been claiming Iran has had nuclear weapons before they saw anything.
Yeah, but
this has been like a theory for a long time. They probably do have it, but like
we've seen tests.
We've seen tests, but before the test, there were claims. So there's always been claims.
I want to just clarify my statement in regards to specifically what you asked, which is what is better, offensive or defensive for NATO? And I would
just in general, like deterrence itself. Do you think it's better served by offensive rhetoric or defensive rhetoric?
So I'm not going to use either of those words. I'm going to say deterrence is when your opponent understands you can show force. If you label that as defensive, I'm defensive. If you label that as offensive, I'm offensive. Whatever needs to be done to deliver that message is what needs to be done. And if it can be delivered in a more peaceful way, that's more ideal. But they need to fundamentally understand the show of force. Like, I guess what I mean is someone can understand what a nuke can do by looking at what happened in like World War II or just from all the media that they've seen and be like, that's enough. I don't need any more. And someone could get hit with a nuclear weapon and be like, oh, fuck, this is what it's like. I don't want any more. Both of those is like an effective deterrence because it kind of still delivers the end message, one with way more destruction, obviously. But
I'll give another example too, because you can see, for example, Israel and how they're playing with their rhetoric, right?
Yes.
So the rhetoric is very much defensive rhetoric, right? As a deterrent. Is we need to defend Israel. We need to defend Israel from Hamas. We need to defend Israel from Iran. No, that's the rhetoric.
That's the rhetoric.
That's the rhetoric.
But the action doing.
The action is very offensive.
So what are they doing?
But the national rhetoric is defense. That's their thing. So it's like, how are you positioning yourself? How are you getting support for this? What the rhetoric is, the rhetoric is what I'm asking
But it's
about
also
here.
like, but it's not like also like.
Not about the actual action.
Isn't that a good
that was my
example,
question
though?
from the jump.
But isn't that a good example? Because that's the rhetoric. No one else feels that.
No one.
And it's just like
literally, people
yeah.
call Israel the most blood-hungry country in the world.
Exactly.
Absolutely. But their whole national rhetoric, how they get support from their allies and from themselves, is by claiming defense.
Again, I'm not gonna do this. I feel like
that's
this
fine.
is
But like
semantic.
you look at the U.S. The U.S. constantly says Israel has the right to defend themselves. That's the line,
But
right? That's the defensive rhetoric working for them.
Like every football
What do you
team
mean,
has
like-
offense
sorry,
and
what do you mean-
defense.
what do you mean that's
Everybody
the
plays
defensive rhetoric
offense and
working for them,
defense.
though?
Like
Pardon me.
what do you mean like that's a defensive rhetoric that's working for them?
That's justifying their actions through defense mechanisms, as opposed to we need to prevent this from happening, so we need to take this action.
Isn't that the only way
But how
to
is that
justify
correlated with
action?
like what we were talking about, which is like what's more effective, trying to be defensive or offensive in deterrence?
I'm just
Because they're
I'm
not
posing the
effective
question.
then in that case, because they didn't deter Palestine or whatever or Hamas from attacking, right?
no, they do.
Because my point is, again, I don't
then
think
that's it.
offensive or defensive matters. I think it's show of force.
I
It's like
totally
the
agree.
U.S. will be like, yo, you fuck with us, we're bombing you. Everyone's taking that seriously. If India says the same thing,
We're bombing them.
no
one takes them seriously.
no
Yeah,
one takes them as
because they
seriously.
haven't
You know
done
what I mean?
anything,
Even Pakistan like is not taking India as seriously.
seriously, man.
Like I don't think Pakistan's anytime making any threats against the states, bro. Like,
No.
like anyway, not and that has nothing to do with what would actually happen. It just more so to do with like. I'll give you another really stupid example. Okay, if I was in Chicago and it was 2 a.m. and I'm walking and
Don't go near the south side.
5'2" scrawny white guy in a polo shirt comes up to me and is like, "Yo, run those pockets. I'ma shoot you." Right? I'm not taking that as seriously as if 5 tall, shiestied up individuals comes up to me and says the exact same thing. Kind of like similar things being said, but two different rhetorics.
Yeah,
I guess.
and like one had a show. I think I'll go with Luke's definition. I think for a deterrence to exist, there has to be a show of force.
And it could be offensive or defensive. It just depends on the concept.
I like offensive.
That was my
defensive,
question. Is
yeah.
like, what is more effective in your opinion?
I think
that
it just
was my
depends.
question from the jump.
I think it depends. I think like, you know what, to give you your point, like defensive rhetoric works when offensive rhetoric has existed. Like the reason why NATO can now be like, yo, like we don't need to show you our weapons for you guys to know what we can do is because World War II just happened. And as we just talked about, the U.S. dropped 2 sons.
And I feel like that was my point too, where like for soft power to exist, hard power has to exist.
Yes.
So like again, for there to be a deterrent, I feel like there has to have been some offensive that everybody, like whether the offensive is a show of force, whether it's a defensive, offensive, I don't know. Like they're just like, if I haven't seen you do it, then why am I supposed to take your word for it? Like that you can do it. Like why should I respect you? Like what does that have to do with
Classic,
anything?
like, bully is going to bully you until you sock him. And then it's like, oh, okay, maybe I don't bully this guy. He still might, because he might be like, yo, like, I might beat the shit out of you. But like, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't show that, it's like,
No.
Anyway.
It's like if Arya comes to bully me, like,
I have other ways to make you cry.
like
I have other ways to make you cry.
You know what I mean?
Don't you worry about that.
Like
I'm taking the offensive rhetoric right now.
There you go. Right? See, you have to start with the offensive rhetoric. Then
yes,
when
you do,
made me
every time.
cry,
Excellent.
Then next time I'll be like, all right, fuck it.
Excellent conversation.
I've cried.
Excellent conversation. All right. We will close this off with some cool events coming to Toronto over the next little while. I put this here because I don't know if Messi's going to play, but Inter Miami is coming to play Toronto FC September 20th at BMO Field.
How much are those tickets, man? Oof.
Several $100s at least. I think I've checked in the past, yeah.
If Messi plays, that's probably worth it.
Like the first year, but I feel like I wonder if people are paying attention now.
Speaking of September 20th, one more thing I wanted to add on this list was the Water Lantern Festival happening September 19th and 20th. Luke, do you want to say a couple things about that?
Yes, a very unique cultural events happening all the all over the states, only in a few places in Canada.
Yeah, he said very unique cultural.
It is. It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
Do you have an opinion on why
Yeah,
it's
like,
not?
wait, you
Let's
don't
wait,
think
no.
it's, you
He
don't
wanted,
think
you know,
it's
he wanted the
unique cultural
attention. He wanted the. Let's give it to him. Let's put you on the spot.
Let's
Why do you
see.
think it's not unique?
Yeah.
I don't know the culture it's associated with.
It doesn't have anything to do. It doesn't have to be associated with a culture, right? Culture is defined by like basically like people buying into things,
Okay, fair enough.
right? So
okay.
it's like it's more so just like I think the way to think about it is like what is a typical event? You go like somewhere, you go out to like a restaurant, you go to a movie, you go to a club, you go to a bar,
you go to a park,
you go to a park.
you go biking, you go play a
biking.
sport,
Yeah,
you go watch people play sports.
yeah.
Or you participate in like a group event.
Yeah, you host
Which
a
is
game.
what the Water Lantern
Yeah,
Festival
yeah.
is.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I definitely think it's unique and cultural.
I was teasing,
teasing,
I was
yeah.
teasing you, but
I
like
teased
you
him
know,
back.
yeah, you guys can put me on the spot. I was like, I didn't think it was unique and cultural, but go ahead, go ahead.
Anyway,
All right. Halloween Haunt is coming back to Canada's Wonderland. We should actually go this
coming
year.
back, like it wasn't a thing for a bit, or
No.
It's
Like
always been
every
here.
year it comes back. Yeah. Every year it comes back.
I like Halloween Haunt.
Yeah.
I used to go
September
in high school,
20th to
yeah.
October 27th.
I've been, yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I like getting scared by people who are actually so excited to scare you. D would actually love working at Halloween Haunt, I think.
Dude, I had
No, I
went to-
wouldn't. Like, first off, it's minimum wage. One.
Let's
Two,
say
it's
you got
cold.
paid what you wanted. Let's say you got paid what you
Okay,
wanted.
so like
I
$3
think you
million
would
an
find
hour.
pleasure in scaring the shit out of people.
Okay, can I share like a disruptive thought? Like, ever since I've been to the Halloween Haunt in high school, I've always thought like, I shouldn't say this out loud because if something happens, I'm gonna be like in trouble. But like,
Okay, so you can say it offline.
I've always thought it was a great place to commit a murder.
Great. Okay.
Because how would no genuinely think about
everything I thought you were gonna say. That's
genuinely
at
think
the
about
bottom
that.
of
Okay?
the list, Luke.
Like if you were a serial killer and you were like, I
Double down,
want
double down.
double down.
I want to find like a place where you know like I can commit an atrocity and people aren't like gonna you know what I mean? Like I think it would be a really smart idea. Like because I feel like you would kill someone and then they would just
Alright.
be like, whoa, like look at
Let me
this
clean
effect.
this up. Let me
Clean it up. Change smart to opportune.
Halloween Haunt, unique and cultural event in Vaughan, Canada. Go check it out.
All right, this next one on the list, I thought Luke, you would get a kick out of this one. So Zwilling is having a warehouse sale in Toronto, a huge warehouse sale. It's at the convention center by the airport. What's that one called?
Oh, I know
The International Center.
Yeah, the International Center.
The International Center. You can go get homewares and everything. They have huge discounts. I always love these kind of events.
Oh, stop too.
Yeah, but definitely go check that out. What's the date on it again? What was the date that I put there? September 25th to 28th. Yeah, so go check that out. And then finally, the Toronto Palestine Film Festival, September 20th to 29th. It's happening all across the city. It's showcasing Palestinian cinema, art, culture, food.
Look at that. A third unique and cultural event on the
Only
list today.
unique cultural events.
That's what
Even
you
the-
would
even-
the three
even
wise
the
guys.
Zwilling
consider
one.
the
Even
Zwilling
even the
sale a
Zwilling one is a
Yeah.
cultural.
That's
You
a
know
German
what? I
brand.
feel like that was probably more of a unique cultural.
Because I know every ethnic family in Mississauga is going to that place. my own family included.
I'm telling you this, people are making the mission from Scarborough.
They are. They absolutely are. Me and my family used to mission all the way to like Scarborough, the East End, for like this warehouse sale that would happen once.
Oh,
a
for
year.
like Adidas.
No,
it's like a bunch of
it's all
different sports.
homewares and stuff like that. So this is where we would get our plates, our cups, our everything. Once a year, we would come to this place because it's the only time that shit's affordable.
That white Reebok jacket I first started skiing with, I still have it. It's like a great jacket just from like a functional perspective. Warehouse sale. It was $35.
Shout out warehouse sales. Shout out Giorgio Armani. I think if you want to keep your brand intact, sorry, I'm speaking to a dead person. To whoever is going to be taking over the Giorgio Armani group, you should consider warehouse sales.
No,
That's my genius idea.
You should keep your brand premium and send 3 suits to an address that will be disclosed.
You don't even have to tailor them. We'll get it adjusted ourselves.
I feel like there should be a compilation of the like last 3 minutes of all like the movements I've been making while you guys have been going.
Like, Davin, you heard it. Yeah, if you could do some magic with that, maybe that would be great.
Anyway, I can't wait for the next Unity Cultural event.
Next, we'll have 4 new ones next
We'll have
time.
4 new ones next
Time. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. It's been real. And until next time, one love.
Aces.
Mwah.